Here we go, guys. Good evening. Welcome, YouTube, to episode number 56 of the FPL Family. Probably only about 3 to go, 3 or 4, something like that.
3, because we'll miss one for the FPL show.
3, because we're going to miss one for the FPL show, guys. Another great weekend of FPL action, including what was an astounding game at Anfield on Friday night. Feels like a long time ago, doesn't it, Friday night? But if you had your Salah triple captain, if you had even Mane triple, even Robbo triple captain, and if you've got all 3 and you've triple captained one of them, fair play, you will be having a fantastic game. Some good scores out there this week. Some very good scores. A lot of 100-plus scores.
There's some ridiculous scores out there this week.
Some very good scores.
But then there's also some very, very average scores. Like, it was a real divisive week this week. It's been
Do you
really...
think so? I think there's a lot of people in the sort of 80s, 90s that are actually feeling like, oh, I've had a bit of an okay game week.
Yeah.
For a game week that's only got 10 fixtures, and you've got in the 90s, you should be singing and dancing all the way to the bank. But I feel a bit about it.
But then there are a few that, just had one Liverpool asset, and then they're in the 50s, and then that feels dreadful this week. Whereas some game weeks, to get in the 50s, you'd be like, it's all right.
Yeah. And if anybody went out on a limb and captain Jamie Vardy, well done.
Well, he
Vardy
had a party.
Well and truly in full swing. I thought he had a couple of... we had one or two. He had like a lean week, didn't he? Like a couple of weeks ago where he didn't score.
Miss one, doesn't he?
What was that game where he... No, I think he's being very consistent at the minute, but a couple of weeks ago he should have scored and he looped it over the bar. I can't remember. Your tea stuck to the table. Goodness me. But yeah, Vardy on absolute fire at the moment. The key question, guys, coming up is... should we hold on to Vardy? He's got Man City away next and he's home to Chelsea.
Jamie Vardy's having a party.
Do we keep on the Vardy party train for the rest of the season? All to be discussed tonight, guys. All to be discussed. We're excited, aren't we? We're excited. Champions League week.
I'm a bit nervous.
I think you're right to be nervous. Ajax are going to...
Says he playing Barcelona.
I'm nervous as well. Trust me, I'm nervous as well. This is a big test for us. We're going from Huddersfield at home to the new camp, Barcelona away. It doesn't get... two ends of the spectrum.
At least you won in your last game. We've lost to West Ham.
Correct, yes, correct. And
lost to West Ham.
We will review that game in a bit more detail later on.
It was... Can't beat West Ham.
Yeah.
Scrape past Brighton. Got to play Ajax.
Yeah, and they're going to be very, very good Ajax. They're going to be, and I've noticed, have you noticed this?
Without Son.
In the Dutch league, they have cancelled all of the fixtures this weekend so that Ajax can have a rest. What is all that about? Can you imagine that in FPL?
Well, they did move our game, kindly. They moved our game from Monday night when we were playing them on a Tuesday.
Not quite the same as cancelling everyone's fixtures throughout the whole of the... I mean, that is just insane to help one team in the league.
Can you imagine turning up the Premier League, turning up at Arsenal? Excuse me, would you mind if we cancelled your fixtures this weekend
because
to have
of Spurs
out? They'd be like... On your bike.
On your bike. Absolutely right. Let's say hello to a few people and then we will talk about the poll questions that have come from our Instagram community this evening. So guys, thank you if you're following Sam at FPL Family on Instagram and sent us some questions for the polls. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do those now. Let's go to the Insta questions because look, got a nice little screen for you. Look at this.
Oh, look.
Oh, little screen. So guys, thank you to everybody that got into the Instagram earlier. And actually, let's do a bit of a promotion for the page. 1 second, guys. Here we go. As usual, I've got my act together. Everything is slick as anything on here. Here we go. Here is the Instagram page, instagram.com/FPL Family or at FPL Family on Instagram. If you're not following Sam over there already, head over there. Lots and lots of good stuff over there.
Well, some stuff over there.
There's some stuff. Some stuff over there. Yeah, absolutely. There is some stuff. You're supposed to be bigging it up. It's way better than the Facebook. Way better than the Facebook.
It might be any worse, could it?
Can't be worse than the Facebook. The Instagram is very, very good indeed.
I forgot to post on the Facebook this weekend.
Well, yeah, okay.
I shouldn't be in charge of 2 social media outlets. I can't manage 2.
Well, what I've particularly liked about the Instagram lately is the go lives. Is the I'm at Spurs. Look at the new stadium stuff with the Instagram live.
I'll do that on Tuesday, but it's not my brother-in-law. Let's be my uncle this time.
Oh God, right.
I don't know how Uncle Larry's going to feel about Instagram living.
I'm pretty sure Uncle Larry is not going to want to be on Instagram live. I'm going to put that out there. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know what Instagram is. He does know what Facebook. He's on Facebook. He will be loving the Facebook. Get on Facebook Live. There we go. That's what to do.
Maybe.
There's the Instagram, guys. Head over to there if you're not following Sam over there already. I'm going to go back to this window and look at the questions. So here are the questions that came in from
lots, actually.
Our Instagram community. So yes, thank you guys that came in and asked that.
There's a lot of kind of very similar ones as well. A lot about Manchester United assets, that sort of thing. So I've just picked a few.
And I noticed you've picked some names. You've picked some. I asked you to go and pick which questions we should feature on the show, and you picked some really nice names for me to say. Not least that last one, which I'm really looking forward to saying in just a second. In fact, I'm going to get you to say it. But guys, go to the little eye, top right-hand corner. Check out the polls. As usual, I've got my who's going to be champions. Is it going to be City? Is it going to be Liverpool? It's feeling a little bit more blue than it is red at the moment, guys, particularly after this weekend's results. I think the Liverpool one was never in doubt. But City got the job done against Burnley, and it was millimetres, Sam. Millimetres over the line.
29.5?
29.5 millimetres, something like that. But that is all you need. As long as it goes over, it's a goal. So it's looking a little bit more blue than it is red, the title, guys. But go in there and answer the question, who's going to win the league, Liverpool or City?
Jamie Vardy might have another party.
It's all down to the Brodge now, isn't it? They've got to show some character. Get out there. Come on, Jamie.
If Jamie does it for you, you've got to make a public apology on this stream on Sunday next week.
Apology for what?
For calling him Ratface Vardy for the last couple of seasons.
He will always be Ratface.
You'll have to apologise.
He will always be Ratface. But listen, if he does the business, maybe I'll build a little Vardy shrine or something.
I mean, you don't have to get a Sean Dyche beard, so maybe you'll have to get something to do with Vardy.
That was hilarious. You guys on Twitter today saying that if Burnley do a Liverpool a favour, I should grow a beard like Sean Dyche. It would take me about 4 weeks to grow a beard. It's absolutely unreal. So the questions for the polls, guys. Taffy Mushoshi, I think you say that. Thank you, Taffy, for sending in the question. If I've said it wrong, I apologise, as usual. Should we trust Spurs assets, considering their minds are on the Champions League? So should we trust Spurs? Yes or no? Get into the questions in the poll. Little white eye, top right-hand corner. Should we trust Spurs? Second question comes from White Chris Samba. Which beach team is the best option for differentials? And I can't remember which ones I put in there, but there's like Southampton, Everton, I think, are in there. Crystal Palace, who we need to talk about. I think their running looks pretty good as well. So which beach team is the best option for differentials in the last couple of game weeks? And then how would you say this? Jono Ichiban, I think I'm going to say that. Jono, and I hope that your first name is Jono. So Jono Ichiban, thank you for the question. Best Manchester United player to haul against Huddersfield. Now, I don't know about you, Sam. I didn't see a lot that makes me really want to invest in Manchester United today in that Chelsea game. I really didn't. But
the fixtures.
But the fixture.
I actually thought the first half Man United looked quite good.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that game in a minute. I didn't see anything that really inspired me, but every player that's getting Player of the Week in FPL right now is getting FPL Player of the Week because they're playing Huddersfield. So you've got to think that even United, who look a little bit uninspired, have got a few injury problems and a few maybe people thinking about where they might go next season. Even United surely can batter Huddersfield. Surely. So we've got to look at which Manchester United player we are backing against Huddersfield. Pogba, Rashford, Martial, Lukaku, and Jono put defence. I've put Luke Shaw because I think he got an assist today, and I think of all of the defenders, looks probably, I don't know, maybe De Gea could have gone in there as well, or maybe not actually after today.
Lindelof.
Well, yeah, even with De Gea between the sticks, I back them to get clean sheets against Huddersfield and Cardiff. So Jono Ichiban, thank you for the question. Best Manchester United player to haul against Huddersfield next week? Pogba, Rashford, Martial, Lukaku, or Luke Shaw, guys. Go over to the little polls, top right hand corner, the little eye, and leave us your answers in there. Let's say hello to a few people. There's our Instagram again, at FPL Family. I'm going to switch to Twitter. There's the famous Twitter page, at FPL Family there as well. Head over there if you're not following us already. I need to get to the live dashboard. I tell you what, windows everywhere
What's
tonight.
going on today?
Windows everywhere. Kuhn Karam is here. Patreon Karam. What a legend. The man, the myth, the legend. Hello, Sam and Lee says, hello, Karam. How are you, sir? How are you? The windmill has taken pride of place, actually. We should put it a bit more in shot.
We'll
do that for next time. We'll do that for next time.
So it's in the middle, but I moved it. I wanted it so the cats didn't knock it over, so I put it on the side of the pictures.
Maffio Soul is here. How are you doing? Good evening, Spencer Lee. New Patreon over the last couple of weeks. Spencer, thank you for joining us over on Patreon and indeed in the Slack community. So Spencer is here. Good evening. Eric Lord is here. Tony Terrell is here. Tom Gravgard. Manahar is here. Hi, FPL Family, he says. Liam Healy. Hi, Liam Sam. Hey, Liam. How are you doing? Captain's Pick Jeff is here, the FPL podcast. How are you doing? If you've not gone and checked out the Captain's Pick podcast, go and find Jeff over on Twitter. And you guys that are on Twitter, feel free to chuck in your Twitter handles in here. Don't all do it all at once, right? But if you've got a pod you want to promote or a YouTube channel you want to promote,
all a load of them want to come in at once.
Yeah, go for it. It's all about the FPL family, isn't it? It's all about the community. Family. There we go. Neil Craston is here. Neil, how are you doing, buddy? FPL eye test is here. He saved his triple captain. Does that mean, FPL eye test, that you saved your triple captain for this game week, or have you saved it and plan to play it in the next couple of game weeks? Because it feels like, FPL eye test, that opportunity, the big opportunity to play your TC, might have just happened. Might have been that Liverpool game, I think. You never know.
Still got 2 more teams to play Huddersfield, so you know.
There are still 2 opportunities to triple captain against Huddersfield. You're absolutely right about that. Steve Wynyard is here. He says, "Hi Sam, feel free to rib me about United if you so wish." Steve Wynyard says.
It's all right, Steve. We'll just call it even today.
We'll call it
even today.
We'll call it even.
We'll just leave it at that, shall we, both of us?
Absolutely, we'll call it even. Chris is in 110 points for Chris. Very nice indeed. iTest says the final game week for the Golden Boot contender. Should have gone Salah though, he says, but he's saving it for a final fling, for a final hurrah in game week 38 for whoever
is back. Going to get 20 goals.
Well, so listen, who do you think is going to get Golden Boot just in a single one? And don't say Kane because he's got a dodgy ankle. Although didn't I see somewhere that he's could be back? For goodness sake. That is so Spurs and so Pochettino. He clearly needs to rest that ankle.
Have you seen him? He's walking around feeding the ducks.
Oh my God. He's
not in straps or anything.
Get
on the pitch, Harry Kane.
He so needs to rest that ankle. Give him a gel. Get out there.
For God's sake, take a leaf out of Son's book and get on the pitch. Give him a gel.
Well, Son now, after that blank this weekend, 1 goal in 10 game weeks for Sonny. Is it time to get rid? Potentially.
Yeah, he's having a rest against Ajax. Having a rest.
We'll potentially look at that a bit later on. Abdullah Tamim is here, 118 points on bench boost. Oosh, very, very good. Boom, very good. Reece Bennett is here, 122 points, Sam.
Nice.
502 overall rank. And I don't think Reece means K. I think that's 502 overall rank. That's absolutely insane. Very, very good, Reece. A whole host of you guys here. Brian Springer's here. Chayet is here. Martin Boyle, Matthew Sol, Dylan Naidu. All of you guys, thank you very much for joining us.
Mods in?
Jeffers is here, as ever.
Hi, Jeffers.
The man, the myth that is Jeffers.
I was going to say, Finley Badder's actually not welcome. It's not welcome.
Why?
He's just giving me so much abuse lately. He's not welcome.
It's probably deserved. It's possibly deserved.
Why is it?
There's the Twitter on the left-hand side, at FPL Family. Let's head over to the games. I'm not intending, and I say this every week, I guess, I'm not intending to go through the games, every single game by game. I normally end up doing that. Where do you want to start? I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how inept, and you'll like this, Sam. I want to talk about how inept Arsenal are away from home.
Piers Morgan, let's give him away.
Vardy absolutely trolling Piers Morgan directly after the game on Twitter, which was an astounding piece of trolling from Jamie Vardy. 2 goals in a very short space of time for Vardy towards the end of that game. I, for one, as a Vardy owner, was very pleased. If I was a non-Vardy owner, that is exactly the sort of typical FPL nonsense that would kill me, right? He's reasonably well owned, Vardy.
Yeah.
Was looking okay in the game, but had a couple of sniffs, but nothing really. 2 goals in quick succession. The 3 bonus points suddenly gets 13, 14 points out of absolutely nowhere. Talk us through your thoughts on the game, and I'm also interested to hear your thoughts on Youri Tielemans, a player we've talked about many, many times on these live streams. Definitely one to watch for next year. If he can get a full-time contract, he might be at Leicester, could be somewhere else. He certainly will have caught the eye of the big Premier League teams, in my opinion. And I saw something through TalkSport linking him to a certain Tottenham Hotspur.
What?
What do you make of that? What do you think of Youri Tielemans and indeed the Leicester performance?
Have you heard something about my team?
Well, it's on the TalkSport Twitter, so take it with a pinch of salt. But
he'd be welcome aboard the Spurs train.
He is the sort of player that you would absolutely have, I think, and would make a big, big difference, I think. But go on then, talk about Leicester Arsenal.
Well, I think what you were just saying about Vardy is absolutely right, because bless old Pete over in their April Manager of the Month competition was absolutely flying, wasn't he, after Friday night's game?
Yes, and we've got an update on the April Manager of the Month as well a bit later on. Now, the winner, which we will be announcing a bit later on in the stream, has come from absolutely nowhere.
20th. Was
20th in the league and according to livefpl.net, is currently winning it by a point. Absolutely outrageous.
But Pete, bless his heart, was winning by a country mile, having triple captain Salah on Friday night and was looking nailed on for it. Didn't have Vardy and it's killed him off. And it's just like, and he was so gutted because obviously the Vardy thing just came from nothing. I mean, I think for me, Leicester, Brendan Rodgers, I mean, credit to the guy because he's
doing a great job, right?
He's turned it around at Leicester. I mean,
so what about Vardy then? Are you gonna keep him? And if
Yeah.
you had Tielemans and Maddison, it's Man City away next.
Yeah.
Then it's Chelsea at home.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about those two fixtures?
Yeah. Vardy in the top 6 loves to score against him, so why not?
The Chelsea at home fixture, I think, looks all right. Yeah. I'd happily keep them for that. So as long as you can. I was going to say as long as you can bench them against City, but I think you possibly play Vardy against City. Would you play him?
I'm playing Vardy against City. Yeah,
okay.
I'm going to play Vardy.
I must admit, I'm tempted to keep as well, guys. He is in great form at the moment. I
don't know if I'd play more than one, but I'm going to play Vardy. If I had two, like if I had Tielemans and Vardy or Harvey Barnes and Vardy, I'd probably bench one and play the other.
Yeah, I think you're right. Tielemans, not, I don't think, a player that I'm going to bring in for the last couple of game weeks. But absolutely one that's on my radar. And Maddison as well. What a delicious delivery for the Tielemans goal as well today. Absolutely sensational. Vardy third overall in the game week for BPS with 52, only behind Wilson and Salah. So there we go. Another nice performance for Brendan Rodgers' boys. A difficult, a tricky end to the season. But if you've got your Leicester City assets, I think you hold them. Arsenal, on the other hand, Brighton at home next and then Burnley away. So a much kinder, at least on paper, end to the season.
Given what I saw from Burnley today, I think Burnley would beat Arsenal.
Well, Burnley could absolutely beat Arsenal. And for me, I wonder whether Unai Emery, who we know has got a fantastic record in the Europa League, has got one eye on winning that competition. He's got to be looking at who's left in that competition, thinking, we've beaten one of the favourites there, Napoli. And I think on their day they can beat Chelsea, they could beat Valencia. I think he knows how to win in that competition. On that basis, he's going for it.
Well, they said, didn't they, on I think it was between the Arsenal game and the City game, that for all of these clubs this afternoon, Spurs, Manchester United, well, not really Manchester United, but particularly Spurs, Arsenal and Chelsea, all three of them are in a position where, I mean, all right, Spurs I think are rank outsiders. However, we are all in a position where we can make a European final, and at that stage you have to question where the manager's loyalties are, and I think that's why this top four
and the players' minds as well, because a lot of these players are going to be going into these Premier League games, and it's similar for Watford actually with the FA Cup final. Surely going into these games thinking, I don't want to get injured. I'm not. If I'm at the end of a really difficult season, I've got a bit of a flaky hammy, I'm maybe not going to go full pelt down that wing. I might just rein it in a little bit. Yeah,
potentially, and I think even in terms of team selection, we saw a change up with Spurs, Vertonghen, this tiny niggle. Normally they played him, but won't risk him for the Ajax game because we need him.
Yeah.
So doesn't play against West Ham. Trips gets another rest ahead of that game. Even Ben Davies played. All right, Rose still played but out of position. So wasn't in quite the same. Up and down the pitch.
Yeah.
So
but Arsenal assets. So Lacazette, I think, took a knock today, as he's saying. So that's
he did.
He's out for Arsenal for the rest of the season now. Doesn't want to invest. Given they've got Brighton and Hove Albion at home next.
Well, Brighton have to get something from that game.
They do, but they are pretty bad away, and I feel like. Say they're bad away. They've got a point at Wolves, and they almost got a point at Spurs, and they do dig in. So maybe they will go defensive when they go to the Emirates as well. And on that basis, maybe I don't therefore want a Lacazette or an Aubameyang. And to be honest, they're really the only two I'm looking at. And with the rotation in that Arsenal side right now, because of the Europa League, it's hard to really place your chips on anyone, isn't it?
When is that game? Must be on Sunday, because they must play Thursday, do they?
What game is that?
The Arsenal game. Arsenal-Brighton must be Sunday.
Arsenal versus Brighton. I suspect it, yeah, if Europa League is Thursday, I suspect it's Sunday.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I watched that Arsenal game today, sort of half expecting Arsenal to do something. I've got the hiccups against Leicester. I didn't expect them to win the game, but I expected them to put up a fight, and I didn't see that from Arsenal today. And as a result, it's not making me want to get on any of their players. I don't think there's an obvious choice. All
right, well, you started to touch on Spurs there. Let's go and finish that conversation then. You sort of were veering off onto Spurs naturally. I could feel that you wanted to do that. So let's go and talk about their...
I don't really want to talk about it.
Let's talk about their game then at the weekend. So Spurs 0, West Ham 1. Despite Spurs knocking on the door for most of the first half, and West Ham batting you back, somehow, and I thought of all the players that played for West Ham, and by the way, I know Arnautovic got the assist, but didn't he look disinterested at the weekend? Antonio was really he looked the most threatening, actually. in that side, and it's no surprise when he popped up with the goal.
What was that celebration all about?
What was the celebration all about? I have absolutely no idea. But what's your view on the game? Give me your feel about Spurs' run-in. The next fixtures are Bournemouth away, Everton at home, going to be sandwiched around those Ajax games, and potentially, of course, a Champions League final at the end of it.
Don't say goodness me. Maybe have a little bit of a shiver there.
Spurs in a Champions League final. Can you imagine? Could you imagine? Can you imagine against Liverpool? Oh, it'd be absolutely outrageous. So who's in your Spurs FPL team right now?
Oh, it's really got me, that has, in the back of the neck.
What?
Well, the hairs on the back of the neck is the thought of...
God's sake. Tell me about Spurs FPL. Come on, who's in your team?
Lloris and Son.
Is it time to sell Heung-min Son then? So Heung-min Son is in a lot of teams, taking up a lot of budget, 1 goal in the last 10, out of form, probably one eye on the Champions League. What do you think about him? Have we got to get rid of him now?
Well, I'm not, on the basis that he can't play against Ajax. So he's going to have a nice rest this week. It's the longest rest he's had all season, a week. He's got a week off between the lunchtime Saturday and Saturday lunchtime again this week. So for me, I'm not getting off him. I think, if you watch the game, for those of you that did watch it or saw it on Match of the Day, Son was there and thereabouts all game and was unlucky not to score points again. He was unlucky not to score points against Man City the week before. It's been consistently kind of like irritating with Son lately because he's been so close so many times in the last couple of game weeks that I think he'll score. But
Jared C is saying one more game for Sonny for me, one more game, and Martin Boyle is saying it's a luxury transfer. He's getting rested against Ajax. He's coming in, you're playing an indifferent Bournemouth side. Let's face it, they're a bit hard to predict, Bournemouth, at the minute. So Martin is saying that is a luxury transfer that we just don't need to make. Ted01 is saying Son is going nowhere for me. Julian is saying Son out, Babel in. Interesting, I like the sound of that. Maztero Ian is saying Son out. And Steve Winard is saying Eriksen ? So give us your views on Eriksen, Sam. Any points for Eriksen this week? Don't think so. Nothing, right?
I think Eriksen is a bit more of a questionable. I think with Son you just hold him because he's been, like I say, I think quite unlucky not to score points. But Eriksen, for me, I think Eriksen would have had a rest by now had we got the bench to do that because he looks incredibly tired. He just looks like he's on his last legs. In fact, a lot of them do. But for me, Eriksen looks like he actually does need a game off, but we don't have the squad in order to give him a game off. At his level of budget in FPL, I'd sell Eriksen.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
If it was the same price as Son, I'd hold him for another week. But at his budget, when there are key players in that midfield that you could have going into these last couple of games of the season, I think I'd rather do that.
Yeah, okay. A super chat from Azzy. Thank you, Azzy, for the super chat. He is saying, from a West Ham perspective, and is Antonio an option up front if Arnie is out? Now, I haven't seen anything to suggest that Arnie is definitely out, but I did see enough in that game to suggest that his head mentally might be out, right? He didn't look as if he really wanted to be there, to be honest, in that game. And Antonio, as I mentioned before, did look very threatening in the position that he played that game. Thoughts on that, Antonio? I'm just looking him up now. 1 point, he's only 1 point, he's 1% owned, right? So value 6.8. Doesn't exactly come cheap. But they've got Southampton at home next, and I think a reasonable game to finish the season. Let's have a look. West Ham, Southampton at home. Okay, Watford away, that's a tricky game. But at 1% owned, could he be a bit of a differential?
Well, he could, certainly. But for me, West Ham they're just the height of inconsistency at the moment. They turned up, they really, really wanted to beat us in the new stadium. Like, they really did. And to be fair...
There was motivation there, wasn't there?
There was a motivation to do it, and they played fine. I think probably deserved something out of the game, if I'm really honest. However, will we see that same commitment against Southampton? No,
will they just go back to we're on the beach, etc.?
I'm not convinced.
Yeah,
Sort of, sometimes they're on the beach, sometimes they're playing. They've turned up for those big games against Man United where they look great, and against us where they really wanted to win. I'm not convinced that we'll see that same West Ham again against Southampton this week.
All right. Karam is saying Eriksen... what did he say? Eriksen leaving my team for sure, yes. And then Jared C. Eriksen was reduced to shots outside the box, playing too deep for that price. So the guys are agreeing with you on Eriksen, Sam. He's probably a get rid. At the moment. Let's go back to Sunday. We talked about Arsenal. Burnley 0, Man City 1. Tough to take as a Liverpool fan, I guess. I was sort of sitting there at half-time thinking that City weren't really in the game. It was 0-0. I thought we've got 45 minutes here if Burnley can hold out. And then City just turned it up, didn't they? They just turned it up for the second half, and the goal was under siege, and you just got the feeling...
They got Pep's wrath, didn't they, at
Yeah,
half-time?
I think they got a bit of a rocket. There was one or two players like Sané who was really not performing in the first half, and Pep's body language in the first half was... You could see it. He was giving it all this on the bench. His arms were going everywhere. And I just thought he is ready to give them one at half-time, and I think he did. They came out all guns blazing, and to be fair... I know it's only 1-0, so as a Liverpool fan, maybe I sit here and go, oh, they only won 1-0 and it crept over the line. They could have had 2 or 3. There was one Jesus had off the line. There was a couple of other good chances for Aguero. So I think in the end, City deserved, begrudgingly from my perspective, City deserved the win there. Any views on the game in terms of Manchester City assets? You've got Sterling, right? You've got Laporte, who picked up your 3 bonus points, I think, this weekend.
Yeah, Laporte.
Very nice.
He's been just brilliant for me the last few weeks. For like 15, wasn't it, in the double, and then 9 again this week. So
Absolutely.
More than happy with what Laporte's doing for me right now. Sterling, I think you have to have Sterling. Sterling feels very much a need to have, not necessarily because I really, really want to have Sterling, but because everyone's got Sterling. So you kind of feel like, yeah, he's one of those players that you just have to own. And I'm starting to feel that way about Aguero as well, because every time he scores a goal, it really hurts me in terms of overall rank.
I think for me, today was their hardest game left.
Yeah.
I do think it was their hardest game left.
Even
and I think,
over Leicester?
Yes, even over Leicester. No, Leicester in form, guys. I know Vardy's party is in full swing, right? And I know that Brendan Rodgers is doing a great job there. But I think... Leicester are the perfect team for City to play at home. They're the perfect team because they're in form. They're going to have a go. And when you have a go against Man City, particularly at the Etihad, you get punished, right? Chilwell and Pereira, we've talked about them all season about how well they get forward. Well, when you do that, you leave space in behind for the likes of Sané if he plays, or Sterling, who will presumably play.
He's not going to play Sané after today. He was useless.
I think you're possibly right, but I do think that a bit of natural width will stretch the 2 centre-halves. And for all Leicester's positives, I still think they've got a bit of an issue at centre-half. I know Maguire was an absolute hero for England in the World Cup in the summer.
So was Trent, but he's useless lately.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about Maguire lately. And obviously, Wes Morgan is getting game time again recently. And just think, these guys are just not defenders, right? So I'm backing City to actually do very, very well against Leicester. Okay. If I take my Liverpool hat off for a second, because I do genuinely obviously want Leicester City to win that game, and put my FPL hat on and play the game with my head, I don't think I will be getting rid of either Sterling or Aguero in my team. I think they are nailed on, and I think they'll both do well against Leicester City at home. I really do. So I'll be keeping my Man City assets. I actually don't fancy City to keep a clean sheet that game. I think Leicester could score that game, and therefore I think Laporte may be one that you might want to. I think you keep him given his track record in the last few weeks, but maybe one that you might want to think about getting out. How are you feeling about him? Get rid or keep?
Laporte?
Yeah.
I'm not getting rid of Laporte.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you've got to keep him.
And he nearly scored today as well. He had an absolute flying header that it just went
straight
at
at
the
that.
keeper.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's no why I'm getting rid of Laporte. He's been quality since I've had him, so he can stay most definitely.
Okay, all right. So we're keeping our Man City assets, and Burnley then digging in against City, but
sorry, my hiccups
losing 1-0. Have a
annoying.
sip of tea. You've got a bit of sip of tea.
Drink it all.
Do you want some water? Look.
It's all right.
Here we go. I've got some water for you.
Blimmin' hiccups.
There you go. Burnley away at Everton next, and then home to Arsenal. I can't call that Everton game. Burnley-Everton at Goodison is such a sort of end of season, anything could happen sort of game. That could be 0-0 or 3-0. I genuinely don't know how that's going to go. Very, very hard to call. And then Burnley at home to Arsenal on the last day. It depends on what's going on with Arsenal in the Europa League and whether they've got a final to play, etc., doesn't it? So I don't think I'm really sort of buzzing to go Burnley, but just maybe keep them on your radar. Maybe. I don't know. And even then, I don't know who I'd go for. Ashley Barnes potentially, but listen, we're going to move on. We're going to move on. I can't think of a Manchester United versus Chelsea game with less FPL significance than the one today. It felt pretty irrelevant from an FPL perspective.
Excuse me, I had Pogba.
I know you had Pogba, and how do you feel about Pogba then going forward? Two absolutely plum games next, Huddersfield and Cardiff.
I'll be honest.
What do you think?
I feel like I'm just stuck with Pogba because, how can you get rid of him with these fixtures? You can't.
I think if you've kept him this long, you have to keep him for Huddersfield and Cardiff, don't you?
So on Thursday evening after we streamed, having said that I was going to get rid of Pogba, I looked at the fixtures and was like, genuinely, all right, it's Chelsea next, but anything can happen in a big game like that.
Sure.
So, maybe I keep him for that. And then I looked at the next few fixtures and was like, how I cannot bring myself to take him out. So what did I do? Took out James Ward-Prowse instead, who got 9.
Nice.
So now, because I've now done that, I actually feel like I am absolutely wed to Paul Pogba for the rest of the season now.
Well, some of the guys in the live chat are talking about bringing actually Pogba in, by the way. So there's a Tim Lee is in. Tim, thank you for joining. Vardy to Ings and then Brooks to Pogba for free based on fixtures, he said. How do you like that? Vardy to Ings, Brooks to Pogba. What do you think about that?
I don't trust him as far as I can throw him because he looks so...
He didn't look amazing, Pogba, today.
No, he didn't. But
like...
it's Huddersfield, Lee. It's Huddersfield. And you can be at 50% and beat Huddersfield 5-0.
And FPL Doc is saying, what about Rashford's injury? So, yes, for sure, we need to keep an eye on that.
And Lukaku looked like he was doing a bleep test and he got to level 1, puffing away in the corner.
It was interesting, wasn't it? Because Lukaku played slightly... he's sort of drifting out wide a little bit today. I don't know what it was about United's dynamic that made him do that. But that actually meant that he was doing quite a lot of short, sharp sprints.
And he can't.
And because of that, he was really puffing. Every time I looked at him, he looked knackered. And I know that he's a big guy, right? So he's got a lot of he's a unit. He's got to carry himself around, right? But he just doesn't look athletic. I don't know what it is. I just don't.
What with him and Luke Shaw?
Despite the fixtures, guys, I cannot really bring myself to massively invest in Manchester United right now.
But I kind of feel like you're silly not to have one, given that the high scorer always comes from the team playing Huddersfield.
I know, it's because it's Huddersfield. Even if it was, I don't know, Southampton and Cardiff, you wouldn't bring him in, would you? Because it's Huddersfield, you kind of feel like you have to have one. I'm not rushing to Pogba, I'll put it that way.
Well, where are you going to go?
Well, I might not. I mean, based on what I've seen in recent weeks, I'm not rushing to get anyone. If anything, I think they've got to play Huddersfield and then Cardiff. These are the two lowest scoring, lowest chance creating teams in the league. So if anything, I might go Luke Shaw. Maybe, but even the way I said that suggests that I'm not really that arsed. I'm like, I might go Luke Shaw. So guys, get in. I want to have a look in the live chat, guys. Let's see what you guys are saying. Abdullah Tamim, bring in Shaw. Yeah, okay, that's the one I'm thinking. Neil Craston, Duffy to Shaw. That has absolutely crossed my mind, Neil. Duffy to Shaw has absolutely crossed my mind.
What Brighton got?
Brighton have got Brighton, Arsenal and Man City, of course. So a very difficult end to the season.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I potentially got a goalkeeper to sort out as well. Pogba in for Ericsson. Sam Karam is saying you've already got Pogba, right, though? So it's you're holding both of those guys at the moment, aren't you? Pogba and Ericsson?
No, I don't have Ericsson.
Not Ericsson. Okay.
I don't know if I don't know. That's a really tough one because Pogba's got the fixtures but not the form. Ericsson's got a bit of form. A little bit, but he's not fit.
And what about Son to Pogba? And that's a question from Zayn Abedin, who we haven't seen for a long time, actually, Zayn. So welcome back to FPL Family. Zayn says, Son to Pogba. What do you think?
I don't know. I think Son's been, like I said before, really unlucky the last few game weeks. And with that game off in midweek, he will want to come back on Saturday and absolutely take it to Bournemouth.
I think Son is, and I can't remember who made the comment before. Might be Neil. Somebody said it's just a luxury transfer. You just don't need to make Son this week, isn't it?
I agree.
He's not playing in the Champions
League.
He's
going to have a whole week off. He's not had a whole week off all season.
He is absolutely going to play in the next Premier League game. You've got to think.
Yeah, we will, 100%. We can't even got anybody else.
I actually think I'm more concerned about Lucas Moore. Lucas Moore is in my team.
We haven't got anyone else, Lee.
Yeah, I know, but I just feel like he's going to be doing all the running against Ajax, all the running, and on that basis I don't know. I'm with you though. You said it on the last live stream. We're all sitting here saying, well, who's going to get rested? Who's going to get rotated? And you went, well, for who? Janssen? Skip? I mean, these players are rubbish.
And Llorente smacked a poor woman. Did you see this video?
No.
During the warm-up. Their warming up was that bad that there was a poor lady sat behind them in the south end. She got it literally...
What, from Vincent Janssen?
Yeah. Can't hit the goal, hits the spectators. I mean, genuinely, that's how bad he is.
How to make friends with the fans again. He's useless, isn't he?
Useless. The man is useless. He can't play him.
I'm telling you, Sam, it's written in the stars. Vincent Janssen will pop up with the winner in injury time in the Champions League final. It's written.
Shut up.
It's written.
Kane's back for the Champions League final.
Oh my
God.
Fine. Kane and his glass ankle. Right, United won, Chelsea won. We've spoken about United at length there. Chelsea, though, how do you feel about those guys? I mean,
I don't feel much about them either.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like...
Higuain is the biggest waste of space I've ever seen.
Oh my God, Higuain is awful, guys. I don't know if you watched the game today, guys, but Higuain, he just stands there and waits for it. You think Lukaku's immobile? Lukaku looks like a dynamo compared to Higuain. It's absolutely unreal. Thoughts on...
If they didn't have Hazard...
Yeah, but even I mean, talking about videos that you've spotted, right? Do you see this video of Hazard before the game in the tunnel, just sort of standing there, yawning? No, genuinely. Guys, if you've not seen this, go at FPL Family on Twitter. I retweeted it earlier. He's just standing there, just like, just like...
At half-time
whatever.
Or before the game?
No, before the game.
I'm bored.
All the team are getting psyched up to walk out into the pitch. He's not asked.
Because he's got to play alongside Higuain, who doesn't move.
Goodness me.
Crumbs.
I feel like both of us have gone up an octave there. We need to bring it back down. Bring it back down.
But what absolutely in all of this infuriates me is that we've got...
Can I have my water back, by the way?
Yeah, we've got Arsenal who can't win away from home. We've got Man United who have been good for a couple of months, but under Mourinho we're awful. And we've got Chelsea who, goodness knows what's going to happen about Chelsea. And one of those teams, hopefully only one of them, because that means we got the other one, is going to make the top four.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
And yet we've got teams like Wolves who have been fantastic all season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who may not?
Shashank Bandari is saying Hazard is always cool. I don't know about that. But also MU Fan TV, who's in tonight. MU Fan, welcome. How are you doing? Higuain was offside 10 times today.
Useless. The man's useless.
I haven't seen that stat, but I can absolutely believe it.
Doesn't move.
Florin Sandu is saying exactly, Sam. They all look bad. And Mafio Soul is saying, can we please have a 1 minute silence for the FPL legend that was Alonso.
Scored today.
Scored, I think 3 bonus points as well, right? 2 bonus points potentially. Hit short with the 3 and then
actually held him all this time just for that.
No, you definitely shouldn't. Alonso is back to essential status. Chelsea at home to Watford and then away at Leicester. I personally think that is 2 pretty tricky fixtures. Yeah. Watford at home, Leicester away on the last day is tough, right?
And they were getting a lot of injuries. Rudiger injured again. No weight bearing when he went off.
Yes, I think he's done.
Someone else.
I think Luiz looked like he might be injured, but I think he's okay. I think Rudiger is the big blow, actually, because he's probably been, and Chelsea fans, you can tell me if you agree or disagree, probably been their best defender this season. Probably. Arguably. And the challenge is who they've got to come in to replace him for the final 2 games.
Well, it's Christensen, isn't it?
So...
Gary Neville made me absolutely laugh because when he came on, Christensen was just like, who, me? What? Got up. Went for it literally, 10-step run, came back, took his shirt off. Done. And then was like, oh, I better have a bit of water. Had a mouthful and then washed his face before he went on the pitch. Like, what are you doing? The man's injured. And
Azzy and Varun are both saying Willian injured, so don't look at Willian
did get injured. He did get injured.
So yeah, there were a few injuries from that Chelsea team, which is not good for them given they've got some semi-finals coming up.
I think you should get Christensen for the end of the season.
Well, that is exactly what Martin Boyle is suggesting in the live chat. That is 100% not going to happen, guys.
That could be it. If Ratface Vardy beats Man City in game week 37, you have to get Christensen for game week 38.
If Leicester City beat Man City in game week 37, I will captain Christensen in 38.
You've heard it here.
I will do that, 100%. If Leicester beat Man City and potentially hand us the title...
You bring in Christensen and captain him.
I will bring in Christensen and captain him in 38.
Amazing.
Done. 100% done.
There we go.
Because by then I will not care. I will be literally just watching the Liverpool-Wolves game on the last day and I will not give a jot about FPL, guys. I will really not. That is 100% happening.
You captain Christensen, I am going to love that. Absolutely.
Leicester City, yeah. If they beat Man City next week, I will captain Christensen game week 38. I will 100% do that. Let's go all the way back to Friday. Liverpool 5, Huddersfield 0. Got the weekend kicked off in style at Anfield there. Absolutely unreal 5-0. It was all looking good for Mane captainers because he was sitting on 2 goals and 3 bonus points until the Egyptian King popped up with his second and stole those 3 bonus points from Mane. And I think then Mane had, a shot off target or something, or a header that hit the post. Ended up with zero bonus points. So who did you have in your team? And give us your view on the Liverpool assets that you've got for the rest of the season.
Right, so here's how my game week started badly. Thursday night, got off the stream, decided what I was going to do. I was like, right, I'm going to lose JWP, I'm going to get Camarasa. That will enable me to go Llorente to Firmino, fine. Should I do it tonight?
Llorente to Firmino,
Should I do it tonight?
So unlucky if you bought Firmino in.
I'll do it tonight. So this was Thursday night. Firmino was going up in price. I thought, right, fine, I'm going to do it tonight. Did it. Literally nothing from Klopp. Hate Klopp. Nothing. Nothing from him all day. No, nothing on Thursday about he got injured in training. Nothing. Even his wife, she could have helped, couldn't she, by posting that picture 10 hours earlier.
You're quite emotional about this, aren't you?
Very upset.
Very upset.
Very upset. It's cost me 4 points. Not only has it cost me 4 points, it's cost me 9 from JWP, who left my team. Anyway.
Oh,
don't.
Did you fund Fabinho by getting rid of Ward-Prowse? You finally lost your touch. It's taken you 36 game weeks, but Sam's golden touch is finally gone, guys. James Ward-Prowse down to Camarasa to fund Firmino is possibly your worst move of the season.
Oh, it's 100% the worst thing I've done. To be fair, JWP was on my bench anyway, so I was swapping one bench fodder for another game, Firmino, but whatever. Anyway, so I did that on Friday.
The Firmino owners are in, by the way. Brian Stavali is saying, "Preach, Sam, preach."
Honestly, never been so
livid. And Spencer Lee is saying, "What the hell do we do with Firmino now?"
So now we've got to wait, haven't we? So we've got to wait until Wednesday to find out whether Firmino plays against Barcelona. If he plays against Barcelona, then we can only assume he's going to play on Saturday against whoever you've got next.
Neil Craston is saying, is Firmino off your Christmas card list? Also off that Christmas card list, Maddison, Edison, and anybody else that ends in son.
Anderson. Yeah, Maddison, Anderson, Edison.
Robertson. No, he's very much
Robertson.
on it. Very much on it.
Yeah, again, I can't captain my player with the most points, can I? I thought I was on for one with Mane. I thought, right, finally, game week 36, I've finally captained the highest scoring player in my team. No, Robertson.
I don't think you're going into that game captaining a Liverpool defender. We did talk about it for sure, and of the three, I think I suggested that actually Robbo would be
the least one,
the least likely option. And Virgil, I think, got a couple of chances, and of course Trent got 10 points, so not to be sniffed at. So I got the assist for the Salah goal. But for sure, I think we were advocating Mane or Salah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if you armbanded either of them, if you triple captained either of them, you've done very well indeed.
Yeah.
There were people, Sam, on triple captain Salah and Trent and Robertson, or
wasn't he?
Mane as well. And
there's
people on 84 points from that game, right? Absolutely unreal. Unreal.
But in terms of Firmino, it's just a real frustration. And I literally bless the Slack community, because I was cooking the kids' dinner at the time. They did message me and be like, Sam, did you do that transfer? I think it was Karam actually, and I was just like, are you actually joking? And then they were screenshotting me stuff as it was coming in, and I was like, I don't know what to do, because I either take another hit to get him out and then I'm on -8, but who do you bring in? Because in that price bracket, I'm not going back to Llorente. I've just got rid of him. I'm not going to take a -8 and end up with the same player I was on before. And in my head I was thinking, if I've taken a -8, that player has to really overachieve for it to be worth doing.
So here's a question then. Second for shots this game week, Mr. Mohamed Salah with 8 shots, only second to Aguero this game week. Would you, if you wanted him, do some surgery to your team to bring him in right now? He does look back on form. Salah, yeah. Or would you stick with Mane on the basis that he can, hate the word, but cover Salah? How do you feel about that whole Salah-Mane dynamic right now?
I'd have to take Mane out to get Salah, because now I've got Firmino and Robertson. So in order to have Salah, I'd have to lose Mane. And again, I feel like we're talking about some being a luxury transfer. I feel like swapping Mane to Salah is a luxury transfer.
Yeah, I feel that.
There's not much difference in there. I know that this week, the points difference is there, but it's not a huge difference. And over the course of the season, it's not a huge amount of difference. And in terms of that golden boot, there's not a huge amount of difference between them. So I'm not going to swap one for the other. If I still only had 2 Liverpool and I could afford to somehow get Salah in my team, then I would probably do it. But for me, it's massive surgery to get Salah in. Okay,
so last point on Liverpool, because I think if you've got them, you stick with them, right? Liverpool are going for the league and they need to keep winning, so you're not going to transfer anybody out, I don't think. But Azzy's made a nice comment there. Mane and Salah didn't pass to each other. You're right, Azzy.
Both want the boot.
Well, they are both in line for the golden boot, and I did see some statistics on Twitter after the game that talked about how much they have assisted each other. Not a lot is the answer to that. I think Mane's maybe assisted Salah for 2 of his 18, 19 goals. And
it's 20 and 21 now, I think.
Or whatever it is, right? But there's something like 1 or 2 assists from each other. They typically get assisted by other people. So yes, there is definitely a bit of healthy competition between those two guys, in the same way that there is a nice bit of healthy assist competition between Trent and Robbo at the back there. So I think the bottom line on Liverpool is whoever you've got, keep. If you want to go treble for the last couple of games, which are Newcastle away and then Wolves at home, I would advocate that. I wouldn't
just
necessarily say that you shouldn't do that.
I just don't think... I think it's chasing points to swap them for each other.
Yeah, I wouldn't interchange Liverpool players.
Yeah,
I think
I
stick
agree.
with whoever you've got, and if you want to supplement, then supplement.
But come on. Firmino. Is he going to be fit?
He will 100% play against Barcelona.
And
he'll play against Newcastle as well.
Fine.
So you should keep him, in my opinion.
You've heard it from Lee.
Listen, so Klopp has come out in recent weeks and talked about how the team have got rhythm and momentum, and he's not planning to make any changes. And then he's got Huddersfield at home, and Huddersfield are about as useful as a chocolate teapot. No, they can't score. No one's going to lose to them. Everyone's smashing them. So, and it's the game before Barca, right? And it's a perfect game to rest players. But because Klopp has come out already and said about the momentum and I'm not rotating and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, he can't then really rest players.
But he is wearing tape, Firmino, so there was something there.
Well, he'd be fine. I know I've seen the picture on Instagram with a bit of tape on his leg. I think that was a tactical rest. He might have a slight little groin niggle, but all players have got niggles at this stage of the season. Right?
So you think it's like Vertonghen? Not really serious injury, just a little niggle, give him a rest, a bit like he did with Lloris against Man City.
Well, put it this way: if Sturridge walks out of the Nou Camp, I'm turning the TV off because the guy is absolute useless.
Why did he play Sturridge over Origi? Because that's the other thing. Somebody messaged me on Instagram when I posted about my Firmino nightmare to say they'd done the same thing, but when they'd heard it, they'd swapped Firmino for Origi, expecting it to be Origi.
Origi limped off a couple of weeks ago, right? So Origi could potentially have a little bit of an injury,
right? Okay.
But if I'm wrong, and Firmino, who is so important to Liverpool, is injured, then the player you want coming in 100% is Origi.
Right.
Whether you want him on the left and Mane in the middle or vice versa, you 100% want Origi coming in. So why would he risk Origi, who might have a bit of a niggle anyway, in the Huddersfield game? Stick Sturridge in there, rely on basically play with 10 men because Sturridge is a donkey. Get the goals from the other players, which is exactly what happened, knowing that you're probably going to have Firmino for Barcelona, and if you don't, you've got then a 95% fit Divock Origi.
Fine.
I think that's the strategy. We've gone off course. Who else do we want to talk about from the FPL community in this game week? Let's have a brief word on Southampton and Bournemouth. All your favourites scoring there. James Ward-Prowse, even Shane Long getting in on the action. Assist for Højbjerg, an assist for Valerie on my bench, which stung.
Yeah, and mine.
2 goals for Wilson and an assist for Wilson. So Wilson, Brooks and Fraser, as ever, doing the business.
Fraser didn't start that game, they came on.
Didn't start. Either of those two, either Southampton, who have got West Ham at home, and then West Ham away, and then Huddersfield at home, or indeed Bournemouth, who have got Tottenham at home, and then Palace away. Looking at bringing any more players from either of those sides?
No.
Difficult to predict, I would say.
Because these are the sort of teams that are sometimes on the bench and sometimes aren't, and so it's from an FPL point of view, it's very hard to know what side you're going to get from them.
Okay, all right. A quick word on Watford and Wolves then. Jota and Jimenez. Finally, Diogo Jota is proving to be the player that we all thought he would be at the beginning of the season. I'm very, very interested to see what sort of price he comes in at in FPL next year, because absolutely I was looking at him for my Game Week 1 team this season, and I didn't get him, I don't think, in Game Week 1, if I remember all the way back to Game Week 1 36 weeks ago. And I'm glad I didn't, because he's only really coming to the fore now. But now that he's here, goodness me, what a force. What a force. And Jimenez complements him beautifully.
He was the one during wildcard window that we should have got on Jota.
You're absolutely right. He's having a fine end to the season.
He's doing a milli from last year.
And Wolves, for their part, they are pushing still for that space, that 7th spot. I think it's between them and Leicester, I think, at the moment, to potentially get that. So something to play for there, Wolves. Something to play for. Their remaining fixtures, I think they go to Anfield on the last day. Yes, they do. But Fulham at home in Game Week 37 looks good for any Wolves assets in your team. Doherty and Jimenez, I think, in your team right now.
Yes, I'll play them both.
Keep them both, play them, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Thinking about complementing with a third, with Jota, potentially?
No, I'm pretty sure I'm going to roll this week.
Okay.
I don't want to make any transfers.
Okay.
They always bite me at the moment. So
it's going to be interesting to see that 7th place dynamic, because in Game Week 37, you've got Wolves who are going to probably win against Fulham, and Leicester who are probably going to lose against Man City, and then they're going to be going into the last game week with exactly the same points, right? And then I don't know who's got the better goal difference, actually. Maybe Leicester, I think. And then in the final game week, Wolves have got to go to Anfield, which, depending on how the league is by then, anything could happen. But you'd say that's a difficult game. So Wolves going to Anfield and Leicester going at home to Chelsea, right? So there's actually a pretty good chance that fight for 7th is going to go down to the last day with a game at home to Chelsea and then Wolves at Anfield, which could be very, very interesting. Give us your thoughts on Watford. Are they now saving themselves for the cup final? How do you feel about them?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Deeney back next game week. His ban will be done. He will be back for the next game week, which is Chelsea away, and then they play West Ham at home on the last day. Those are two pretty all-right games, I would say, for Watford.
They are. See, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I can't go back. I'm never, ever going back to Deeney ever again. And in terms of attacking players, I think if you're going to go for Watford, you go Deulofeu. That seems the obvious pick.
Yeah.
I don't think in games against Chelsea and West Ham you necessarily want a defender. Don't think so. I'm not playing Foster.
No, certainly not in the Chelsea game. Home to West Ham, potentially. Home to West Ham. But I think in the Chelsea game, I don't think you... Although the way Higuain played today, maybe you do. Maybe you do. Let's talk about our teams then for the week. Let's see how we got on. Like we say, guys, it was a funny game week because most game weeks where you score 91 points, you'd be over the moon. Absolutely over the moon. But that point score of 91 has given me a game week rank of 1.1 million. I don't know if that overall rank is updated. I don't think it is because I looked on livefpl.net earlier and I think I was at about 60k. I was about 60k, which for me would be a 4k rank increase. So I feel like I'm kind of breaking even a little bit this week. And given that I didn't have Salah and I didn't have my triple captainship, I don't feel too bad about that. I feel okay with the 91. I don't feel great about it, but it's a green arrow nevertheless. All the Liverpool players obviously got the weekend off to a great start. I then backed City to beat Burnley, and Aguero got the goal, which was great. The teams that let me down was I backed the double Bournemouth, I backed the double Brighton, didn't I? I expected Brighton to dig in against Newcastle, which they did, but only ended up getting the 1-1 draw rather than what I thought might be a 0-0. So Ryan and Duffy obviously disappointing to not get any points from those boys. And then Jimenez and Vardy absolutely doing the business up front for me. Very, very happy with the 2 Vardy goals. And then, of course, Spurs was a completely unexpected result. I think we're all expecting Spurs to win that game against West Ham. So a bit disappointed with Højbjerg and Valerie on my bench. But, I look back and I think I probably would have... I don't think I would have made any sort of different decision than that. All the players that I've got on here, I think warranted their starting place. So 91, guys. It's a bit of an average game week, which is saying something because 91 should be awesome. I didn't take any hits, which was good, right? So
good.
91, and I do have 2 free transfers for next game week. So I'm going to be looking carefully at what I do with Heung-min Son and with Lucas Moura. I now don't want my Brighton defenders either, so I'm pretty sure Son and Duffy, or maybe Son and Moura, are going to make way, and I'm going to start bringing in some players from differential teams, teams that have got really nice fixtures that are a bit unpredictable. So I like Palace, for example.
You're going to take out both the Spurs?
Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but let's see. Lots to discuss, and of course we'll do that on the next live stream, and of course at FPL Family on Twitter if you're following me over there. So 91 for this game week. Okay, I'll take it. Let's see how you've got on. 85, a game week rank of 2 million, just over 2 million. Is the overall rank updated? I don't think it is. 37k. What did Live FPL have you at last you looked?
No, it's better than that.
It's up from that. Talk us through your team then. How did you get on this week?
It just started badly, didn't it? In terms of, I was just going to look where I was on Live FPL. It just started badly with that Firmino transfer. It's just like that puts a dent on it because obviously it's 85 but -4.
Yeah.
It's fine. I kind of feel like it's all right for next week. As long as Firmino's fit, we should be fine for next week. Plan at the moment is to roll to give me 2 transfers going into game week 38, but there is some scope for some movement around, maybe with Duffy. Not sure yet.
Okay. You don't sound massively enthusiastic about it.
Just a bit. The Firmino thing really
riled you, didn't it? It riled you. I could tell.
It really has. 29k I'm at.
29k.
It's really I can't think of a nice way to say it, so you can imagine the kind of how I feel. It really did get me on Friday night because I knew it was going to be a high-scoring game. I could just sense it. I still feel really aggrieved about this captain thing. I just can't get it right, and you know, it's every week at the moment, and it's not that I'm picking bad captains because Mane's not a bad captain choice. It's just annoying that I'm yet to pick my highest-scoring one. So. But Vardy absolutely helping me because I was having a absolutely horrendous game week and was down to 37 from 25. So to finish the game week, given I've taken a hit for a player who didn't play, to end up 4k down feels it's okay actually.
That's okay. Survive this game week when there's and let's face it, a lot of triple captaincy chips being played in the sort of top 10k, top 20k. So
and I feel like
I wouldn't be too aggrieved at that.
No,
I wouldn't be too aggrieved.
I feel like next week the team's okay for next week. So we just need to have a little shuffle around and see what we're doing. But mostly I feel like it's all right. And hey, we're going to win a Champions League semi-final on Tuesday. So
absolutely, look on the bright side.
And I get to have another pie.
On the bright side, because you're going again. Absolutely going again. Let's have a look at the Manager of the Month League for April, guys. So here is the Manager of the Month for April. And I got this off of livefpl.net. Congratulations to Tracy Haupt. And hopefully, Tracy, I've said your name correctly. Tracy Haupt with her team, Trixie Trace Ravens. 355 points for the month of April.
Unbelievable.
A game week score, guys, get this, a game week score of 138, and that tells you everything you need to know about our Manager of the Month competition. That's why I like it, because Tracy was 20th. She's not even in this graphic last week. She's not
appeared in any of the top 10s.
Not even in this graphic last week, but this week Tracy is bang up there in first. Absolutely sensational stuff. Commiserations to Scott, because Scott was absolutely in and around that top spot for a long time. He was third, second, first all month. We had a very, very consistent month. So to be beaten at the death by Tracy with her 138, absolutely sensational stuff. I slipped a little bit. I was in second, down to sixth because of my 91 in that list of scores looks a bit guff, doesn't it? To be fair,
I think they all had triple captains. Certainly Pete did.
There was a few triple captains in there, yeah.
There were a few triple captains in those guys.
Anthony as well, great game week score, mate. 130th at 130 points, absolutely sensational. So there we go. So Tracy is the April FPL Family Manager of the Month. Congratulations, Tracy.
Tell me that she's in Dubai.
She lives in Dubai, so I'm going to be reaching out to her via email tonight, probably directly after this live stream. Tracy, congratulations. Tracy wins a retro Premier League shirt of her choice. She also gets the opportunity to come on an FPL Family live stream. So Tracy, I will be talking to you about what sort of time you can do and when you can do that. Now, in Dubai, what are they, about 4 or 5 hours behind, I think?
Yeah, but Sunday's a work day out in Dubai.
Sunday's a work day.
So she might prefer a Thursday because that's going into the weekend.
So are we going to have a Skype a la Frank, or are we going to have a video call a la Gareth that we did?
She can choose.
Who knows? It's all up for discussion. But absolutely well done, Tracy. Superb
If you want to be part of May, it's a 2-week league, isn't it? This time, obviously, just the final 2 game weeks of the season. So it's a 2-hit, quick as you like.
Absolutely. So the Manager of the Month competition for May is open, guys. So if you go and check out the link in the description, patreon.com/FPL Family, go check us out over there. If you want to support us, we'd love you to do that. And if you head into the Manager of the Month tier, you can take part in May's Manager of the Month. Now, as you rightly said, that is 2 game weeks. So that is 2 games. Anything can happen. And literally anyone that takes part in that could absolutely win that.
Apart from us.
We can't win. But anything can happen in 2 game weeks. So that league code is now available on Patreon. If you're a patron of FPL Family at the Manager of the Month tier, head over there right now, or go and follow me at FPL Family on Twitter. I've posted some of the links recently. Get over there, get that code, and get in there before Saturday's deadline.
And what is the prize?
The prize for May is a replica shirt of your choice. So you get to win a Premier League shirt of your choice. As long as it's Liverpool, you can have whichever one you want.
Oh, that reminds me, because Frank wants whoever wins. And we
still
don't know, do we?
He does, absolutely. So you can have a Premier League shirt of your choice. And you'll get the opportunity to be on our very last live stream of this season. The season review, the finale. So we will do, I've got to put a bit of thought into this, but we will do like a Game Week 38 review. Okay. But then after that, I want to do a season long ups and downs.
Oh my god, it's going to be 8 hours long.
It'll be probably a bumper episode. But if you remember, guys, on before game week 1, in one of our pre-season videos, we wrote down some predictions.
We did.
Of who we thought was going, and you guys did too, of who we thought was going to be top goal scorer, what the top 4 was going to be, and who was going to get relegated. You guys made some predictions in the live chat. We wrote those down. We made some predictions. Can you remember who you put? I can remember who I put. I've not done too bad, I don't think.
I think mine's all right as well.
I might have called a fairly big team to go down that are not going down, which might be a bit embarrassing.
I did the same.
Very good. So that will be...
But I think I've got the top 4 in roughly the right order.
Okay, all right. Okay.
But the bottom... and at one point, the team I had to be relegated were definitely going down. They've saved themselves. So.
Joey's saying, I think I remember people voting Watford to be relegated.
I didn't put Watford.
I didn't put Watford, but... Spurs to go down was potential on there. So, guys, we will be doing that. We've got 3 or 4 live streams to go yet, so I'll be putting some thought into what our season review live stream looks like. But that is what we're going to do. But the Patreon thing, yes, we have got a manager of the month for May, 2 game weeks, bish bash bosh, get it done. Anybody can win if you're in the manager of the month tier over on patreon.com/FPL Family. So get over there and get the code and get into that mini league before Saturday.
Obviously, if you join for May, you'll also get June and July for free because we're not charging for content.
Absolutely right. Yes, absolutely right. There's the whole point of the manager of the month is that you win something at the end of it. There's no FPL,
but you'll still have access to the Slack, and I'm sure that we'll be slacking away all summer regardless.
Slacking away all summer. I suspect we will be slacking away all summer. And yeah, we will be doing a few live streams in the off season, won't we? June, I guess, will be pretty
quiet in June, and then once the game launches.
The game launches, and then we'll start cranking it up again. So yes, we'll look out for all the updates at FPL Family on Twitter and Instagram about what's going to happen in the off season. Got some thoughts about what we might do with the channel next year as well. But if you're a patron and you're on our Slack, head over to the YouTube feedback thread, right? Because I want to hear from you guys that are our followers, our supporters. We want your input, guys. Tell us what you want to see on the live streams, and we will do what we can to incorporate that.
And Joe, you can't say more Watford because that won't get past.
No more time than 42 seconds on Watford. That is not allowed. Yep, you can make that suggestion if you want, Joe, but it is absolutely not happening.
Should we do the polls?
Let's do the polls before we go. Well reminded. I was just about to wrap up then. Well reminded. Let's do the polls. Bear with me 2 seconds. Right, Sam. Here we go. Who will be champions?
No, it's going to be City, but let's go Liverpool just to, let's just...
Thank you, dear. That's very kind of you. Liverpool...
It's getting worse.
24%. Man City saying 75%. So
I really want Vardy to do it, because then you've got Captain Christensen.
3/4 of you... you won't be laughing when he scores a hat-trick, and we'll beat you for this season.
Or get sent off.
That's probably much more likely. So Man City, 3/4 of you going Man City, 1/4 of you going Liverpool. I must admit, guys, it is looking increasingly difficult, but I will be getting behind the Brodge and Ratface when they go to the Etihad. Can we trust Spurs, Sam? Yes, they want 4th, or no, their minds are elsewhere. Can we trust your beloved Tottenham Hotspur?
We do want 4th.
Yes, they want 4th. Is it the police? Let's hope it's not. You need to go and get that while I do the polls and wrap up. Do you want to say goodbye? Because you're probably unlikely to come back.
Goodbye.
Can we trust Spurs? Yes, they want 4th, or no, their minds are elsewhere. 60% of you are saying no, their minds are elsewhere. Interesting. So all of you getting rid of Son and Lucas Moura, presumably. The best beach team for differentials between now and the end of the season. Palace, Saints, West Ham, Burnley or Everton. I'm going to go Crystal Palace. I think Palace with Cardiff away, and we know that Palace are pretty good away from home, and then Bournemouth at home, and Bournemouth are erratic to say the least. The likes of Zaha, the likes of Miljovic, the likes of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, another 9-pointer for Wan Biscuit this weekend. Absolutely should be looking at Palace, I think, guys. Only 35%, I say only, 35% of you guys agree with me. 48%, it's almost half of you going with Saints, actually. West Ham away, Huddersfield at home. It wasn't the police then, I assume.
No, it's just Joe.
Good, it was Joe from next door, excellent.
Also,
big Watford fan. Big Watford fan. Should have invited him in. You could have had more than 42 seconds. 48% of you going with Saints, West Ham and Huddersfield. And then 4% on West Ham, 9% Everton, 2% Burnley. So the Hammers, Burnley and Everton not getting a lot of love. So the best beach team for differential, Sam, is looking like either Southampton or Palace for the last couple of games.
That's brilliant, because I've just got rid of JWP.
Well, there we go. Best Manchester United. For who? Who did you get? Camarasa?
Well, yeah, because I wanted Firmino. Let's not go through this again.
I knew the answer. I just wanted to ask you again.
I dislike you.
Best Manchester United player for the Huddersfield game, Sam: Pogba, Rashford, Martial, Lukaku, or Shaw?
I've got to stick with Pogba, haven't I? I mean, I've got him.
Got to stick with the Frenchman, I think, haven't you? Yeah, 29% saying Rashford. Actually, Rashford.
Isn't he injured?
Well, I think let's see how injured he is. Right, let's have a look. Keep an eye on the news. 29% Rashford, 25% Pogba, 18% Lukaku, 22% Shaw. That's interesting. It's quite a fair few of you going for Shaw. And then only 3% Martial, who started on the bench again today. Not even sure he came on, did he, Martial?
No, he didn't.
Don't think he did. So I'm not sure what. He's got a future at Man United.
He's just signed a contract.
That means nothing though, does it? It just means you go for a bit more money.
Yeah,
so it looks like the favourites there, quite split. Rashford 29, Pogba 25, Luke Shaw 22, Lukaku 18, and Martial a distant 3%. So there we go. Guys, well done this game week. It's been a game week full of high scores and high scoring teams. Lots of Centurions out there, lots of 100 plus. If you didn't have Salah, and you didn't have the triple captainship, I still think if you're in the 80s and 90s, that is a pretty good score. Good score. And I think it was always going to be like that. As soon as Liverpool got the 5 against Huddersfield, which of course we were all expecting and predicting, I think we could see that the game was going to head towards that sort of 90, 100 mark. But nevertheless, there are some 130s out there. There's some 140s. So guys, if you're up in those sorts of brackets, then absolutely sensational. That is it for another FPL Family live stream. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. If you enjoyed the stream, hopefully you did, leave us a like before you go. Hit that little like button. And if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button and make sure that you turn on the little notification bell so that you know when we're next live. There's our Twitter, at FPL Family, at FPL Family on Instagram. We will be back on Thursday of this week.
Yes.
I always say that with a question mark and an inflection at the end because I don't really check my diary for the following week before then.
Yeah.
We're either going to be on a big high from the Ajax and Spurs games and the Liverpool-Barca games, or we both have been smashed 3-0 and we'll be down in the dumps. But let's see. I'm excited for the Champions League, guys. As soon as it gets to this time of the season in the Champions League, and we've got a good record in recent times in the Champions League, I love it. I just think, somebody asked me today on Twitter, how do you feel about the Barca game? Are you nervous? Of course I am. But I'm really excited about it. Really excited about it. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. The thought of, an unstoppable object like Messi coming up against an immovable force like Van Dijk. I'm just interested to see how that's going to go. You're more nervous than I am, I think.
I genuinely feel sick. I'm not sure it's a good idea that I'm going to this game. I genuinely feel sick about it already. We've got 2 days to go and I feel sick.
Well, listen, get over to Instagram, guys. Check out Sam over there at FPL Family.
See if I can convince Uncle Larry to make an appearance.
If you want to see Uncle Larry on Tuesday, I suspect you're more likely to see a chicken balti pie.
Oh, you'll see one of them.
And more likely to see Sam's pre-match nerves in that Ajax and Spurs game. Until next Thursday, guys, well done in Game Week 36. Sensational stuff. Look forward to seeing you over on Twitter and Instagram and indeed on the Slack for any of our Patreons. And we will see you next Thursday. Cheers, guys.
Take care, guys.